I am Trinisha Cottrell, and this is First Love Yourself, where we focus on Christ, self love, self care, and healing. So, this is a no judgment zone. So, get comfortable because we are about to get into it. Let's go. So, today I wanted to talk about steps of letting go of an ex. I know yesterday's video, or it probably was like the last video that you saw, I was talking about how we needed to heal, how to move on from a breakup. But this video, I wanted to talk about the steps for letting go, because sometimes what we do is we will start to talk about all of the things that are super easy, like, oh, it's easy to let go, you just need to let it go and move on, let go and let God. And you have all these cliche terms of how it's so easy to let go. Is it really that easy though? We're going to find out today. So the first thing that you need to do is know that it's the easy step is to forgive yourself. Sometimes, like for me in the past, the thing that held me up the most was I kept on not forgiving myself. I was like, you should have done this, you should have done that, you should have known better, how could you fall for this, how could you deal with this, how could you stay so long, all of these things, right? I was just, the guilt, the shame, I just kept constantly beating myself up about something that I couldn't change. You cannot change the past. What you can do is change the future. So the best thing for us to do is to let go. The adversary wants us to constantly harp on the things that we can't control because he knows that we can't control it. So what it'll do is it'll drive you insane. You will start to just beat yourself up. You'll start to have this cynicism. You'll start to only think about the negative things instead of thinking about the blessings that you have in your life. You'll start to think about all the things that you don't, that you didn't get to do, all the things that you didn't get to have, all the things that you didn't get to see, the vacations that you didn't get to go on, and all the people that look so happy, and you focus on everything except for yourself. And when you do focus on yourself, you're focusing on yourself in a, I'm going to beat myself up because I should have known better. I should have done this. I should have done that. I really don't know why I always do this. Listen, first of all, we need to take the negativity out of your life. It's time for you to step into purpose in the right way. And the way to do that is you have to forgive yourself. Whenever I have a client and I do life coaching, one of the things I recommend is a forgiveness letter. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that, but God put it on my heart when I was first healing. I was trying to learn different ways to heal, different things that I could do. And I think TG called it the game film. But for me, it's not just about, it is about looking at the past and the things that you didn't do, or that you should have done, or that you could have done a little differently. But it's mostly about you acknowledging the things that went wrong, or the things that you didn't get, or the things that happened to you in the past, and letting it go. Knowing, like, write down all the things that you did wrong. So, and I think TG's version is looking at all the things in the past relationship, and I think it is some of the stuff that went wrong in the relationship. But in my forgiveness letter, what I want you to focus on is everything you did wrong, the things that you beat yourself up for in the dark, the things that you keep saying, I don't know why I did this, I don't know why I stayed so long, I don't know why I, and you just keep on beating yourself up about something that you cannot change. I need you to write down a list of all the things that you feel like you did wrong. All the things that you keep beating yourself up about. Not just the things that went wrong in the relationship, but all the things that you feel like you did wrong. And when you get to the very last thing, and I need you to take a moment and think about your past. What is something in the past that made you feel like you had to stay? Why do you feel like you stayed longer than you needed to? Why do you feel like you accepted this person even though you knew it wasn't God's will? Why do you feel like you decided to keep going, or give them another chance, or whatever the thing was that you did that made you feel like you just have to keep harping on the fact that you didn't do something right? Write down all those things, and I need you to, like, pour your whole heart out. I was crying writing this letter when I did it, when I was first on my healing journey. And it was difficult. It was not easy for me to write down the thing that made me feel like I needed to stay was because of some kind of past trauma. And I wrote that down. I wrote down everything that affected me in a certain way, making me feel like I needed to hold on to that thing, the thing that kept me trapped, or kept me feeling like I needed to do the wrong thing, or something that wasn't aligned with God's purpose for my life. And after I wrote down all those things, ooh, it was hard. It was so hard. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like this is going to be easy. This is going to be one of the hardest things that you do in this healing journey. Because one of the things that I refused to do in the past was take accountability. always wanted to point the finger at other people, like they did this wrong, they did that, it's that person's problem. But TG really helped me understand that when you could take accountability for your actions and really say the things that you did wrong, not only is it emotional intelligence, but it helps you heal, because you're not just putting it in someone else's hands for something that they can control. You're thinking about the things that you can control in your life. You're thinking about, oh yeah, if I had did this, then I can do that. Here's in TG's game film list. He talks about how you could point out the things like the red flags that you didn't see in the past, and maybe that's something that you can include in this letter as well. And but for the benefit of this video, let's just say you're going through and you're saying, okay, I didn't do this right, or I did that, or I stayed too long here because blah, or I was feeling insecure. And you got to be real honest with yourself in this letter. You can't lie to yourself and say, oh yeah, I'm good, I got it going on. And you may have it going on. You're beautiful, you're smart, you're incredible. And also, you know that this is not a moment for you to just lie to yourself. This is a moment for you to be completely honest with yourself. Really saying, what is that thing inside of me that made me feel like I needed to stay? What is that thing inside of me that made me feel like I had to stay because I could do bad all by myself? When people used to say that, oh my gosh, that used to make me stay more. I'm sorry, I had like a little rebellious spirit. And so, and I gotta be transparent because there's gonna be a lot of women that could probably relate to this. Like, if somebody's telling you that you can't do something, you're like, I'm gonna go do that thing. So, for you, when you were feeling like you had to prove a point to family members, to friends, whoever it was, know that you were not proving a point to anyone. You were trapping yourself. And that's a lie from the adversary to keep you trapped in something that is not God. So I need you to take a moment and really think about why you stayed. Really be honest with yourself. I just didn't want to be alone. I needed a warm body. I wanted to feel included. I felt seen. I liked getting compliments every once in a while. It wasn't all bad. And usually that's how it is. That's how the adversary works too. He doesn't present himself as all bad. He presents himself as good. And then you find out that he's bad. So you have to really say, okay, I did see that this was wrong and I stayed because blah. And after you figure out all the reasons why you stayed and you talk about all the things that you did wrong, like you put up with him maybe disrespecting you the first time when you should have just nipped it in the bud at the beginning. You decided to give him another chance when you knew that he wasn't the person for you because you didn't want him to be with somebody else. You decided that you wanted to be with this guy so badly that you had to sacrifice your own integrity to stay with him, or you had to lie to people about who he was because you wanted to make him look good. Pro tip, if you ever have to lie to the people that you love about the person that you're with to make them look better, that's probably not the person for you. Most people probably won't say that, but I'm letting you know that's like a real major key alert. The thing that will alert you to let you know that this person is not for you the most is when you have to lie about who that person truly is. If you know your family or your friends, people that truly love you, would not accept this person if they knew how they treated you, or the things that they did, or the character of that person, then you need to let them go. And I'm not going to tell you what to do. Just pray about it. You know what's right for you in your life. You know when you feel like you're treated the right way and when you're not. And I'm not saying you point the finger and say they did all these things wrong. No, there's something in your life where you accepted something less than God's best for you. And I'm not saying it to beat up on you because I've been there. I'm saying it because you know that moment when you knew something wasn't right, where you felt like that person's not treating me the right way. They said this thing and they said they were joking, but it really didn't feel like a joke, and they know I'm not okay with this, but they did it anyways. You let it go, and now you're stuck in this situation. You're not stuck. You could go anytime you want to. You have free will. And let God be able to release a plan of escape. I don't know, right? But seriously, you know when something is right and when something is wrong. So if you know that was the moment, write it down. And at the very end of this letter, I need you to forgive yourself. I forgive you for staying too long. I forgive you for accepting less than God's best. I forgive you for allowing the person to talk to you like this, to treat you like this. I forgive you for giving the person another chance. I forgive you for staying a year past the time that you knew you were supposed to go. I forgive you for feeling like this is the best that God had when God has so much more for you in life. I forgive you for everything. Everything that you did that you didn't know in the moment. And don't beat yourself up for something that you did not know in the past. That's something that I struggled with at the very beginning of my healing journey. I wanted to beat myself down. Like, I was like, you should have known better. You should have done that. Like, I was so angry with myself and so unforgiving. And sometimes I still struggle with this to this day when I make a mistake. And God really has to work on me to let it go, to forgive myself. That's not something that will just be one moment, but this letter will be the start to the beginning of the rest of your life. It will change everything. You will start to see yourself in a whole nother light. Oh, my battery's about to die, so I'm going to have to make this quick. I'm so sorry. The next thing is to acknowledge your expectations for someone else is not who they are. The reason why it's hard for us to let go sometimes is because we have an idea of who we want them to be. And I know I said this in the last video, but I wanted to break it down. I might not get a chance to because the battery's going to die. But it's important for us to really know who this person is at their core. Stop thinking of the person who you want them to be like, oh, if they just did this, then they could be like this. Oh, but we could be married in a year and do, like, you just got this idea in your head, whole life plan of the things that you want in life. And God's saying, I never had that for you. God never wanted you to be stuck in a relationship where you're not treated the right way. God never wanted you to settle for less than his best for your life, to be treated unlike Christ loves the church. Like, if you were treated like Christ loved the church, do you really think that God would intend for you to feel like crap or be miserable? No. And I'm not saying that it's not going to come with sacrifice. I'm saying that you will feel loved. You will feel cared for. It's not like you're not going to have to sacrifice your integrity to be with someone else. You may have to compromise, but a compromise is not sacrificing honoring and respecting yourself. Always remember that. So you have to be realistic in knowing who this person is. If they talk to you the wrong way, if they're disrespectful, if they don't respect your boundaries, whatever else it is, then that's who they are. Stop trying to change in your mind that, well, we laughed about this one, and they did a date like when we first got together, and it's been 3 years and you haven't went on a date since then. They started giving you flowers, or they did all these things in the first couple months, or they give you flowers every once in a while. So they must not be that bad. But you know when you're treated the way that you want, that you should be treated, and when you're not. Be real with yourself. And you don't have to lie to you. Like, the main major key alert is to stop lying to yourself. Be honest with yourself. Know that you feel when the person's not for you, when it's not right, when it's not the right thing. You can feel it in your intuition. Trust your intuition. And I don't mean you make up some excuse like, oh, they're under 6 foot, so I can't be with them. I mean like a real thing, like something that really has to do with integrity and core values. The third thing is you have to set your intentions for your own life. Sometimes the reason why we can't move on is because we're so focused on the other person that we're not focusing on what we need to do. If you focus on doing the things that you have to do for your future, for your life, actually going after the things that you want, being the person that you were intended to be, going after your purpose, putting that energy into working on your body, like TG says with the 3 B's. He says your brains, brand, and body, and I like to say mind, body, and soul. When you are focused on building your intellect to be more emotionally intelligent, reading, learning something more, taking courses, when you're focused on eating healthy or healthier, and TG TG recommended a blood type diet before in the past. Definitely check with your doctor and do things that are healthy for your body, like walking, exercise, and drinking lots of water, like your body weight in water or whatever it is. Like, make sure that you are constantly doing the things that are going to add to you feeling good inside and out. And your soul, you want to feed your soul with the word. The thing that helped me the most is being in God's presence and reading his word. When I focused on myself, like really self-care and doing the proper things to heal, like taking the time to heal, it really allowed me to build my self-esteem. It really allowed me to build my confidence. My skin started going. My people would say, oh, I see a light in you. It was all God, for real. I gotta give credit where credit is due. That light that y'all saw in me, was definitely God. God had his whole hand on my healing process. He made sure that he took good care of me. Like, I ain't never felt love like that in my life until I knew Jesus. And now I know how I want to be treated. And that's how it will be for you. When you start to really focus on building your brains, your brand, and your body, and you got to watch TG's video because I might mess it up and I don't want to give you an irrelevant or incorrect advice. I want to make sure that it's aligned and it's proper. So go check out his video with the 3 B's and he'll break it down and everything because I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. But super helpful. Definitely major key. And then the fourth thing is stop focusing on the past. The thing that really hurt me in the beginning when I was feeling like I couldn't move on is I kept thinking about all the past things, all the good times. I started focusing on, and that's how it is too. You get ready to leave and all of a sudden you have a flashback of good moments. And it might have been 3 good moments in like 15 years, but you focus on 3 good things. And that's not the whole relationship. Be honest with yourself and saying, okay, I wasn't treated the right way. Okay, I didn't have healthy standards and boundaries and in the past. But now it's time to look forward to the future. There's nothing in the past for you. Everything that happened has already happened and it will not be changed. Keep focusing on God. Focus on your future. Focus on the things that you know you need to do in your life. Because every time you turn back, you're missing out on a blessing in the future. You're missing out on the person God does have for you because you're so stuck on this person who is obviously not grace for you. You spend so much time focused on all the mistakes that you made instead of forgiving yourself and moving forward and knowing that you could do better in the future because you learned something from that. Didn't you learn? You learned what you do and don't like. You learn how you do want to be treated. You learn what will and will not be acceptable in the future. So now that you know that, you can move forward knowing how you want to be treated. You can move forward knowing how to love and honor and respect yourself so that when a guy comes in, he has no choice but to love, honor, and respect you because you already have that boundary for yourself. You already set a precedence for your life. You already know that's how you want to be treated. You already feel beautiful inside and out. So when he says you're beautiful, you're like, oh, I know that. Thank you. You don't have to say, oh my gosh, he said I'm beautiful. You could be like, I know that I'm beautiful and I accept the fact that he said that I'm beautiful. Like, that's just an added bonus. It's not everything. It's a bonus. When you truly love it on yourself and you know how you love your skin, you love your hair, you take good care of your hair, you take care of your skin, you take care of your body, your mind, your soul. When you're feeding yourself all of that, God has no choice but to give you good in return because you're so grateful and thankful for the things that he's already given you. But you have to remember that. You can't settle for less than God's best for your life. You have to know that he has more for you and don't just put him in a box thinking that he can only do this little bit because that's all you could do. No, God can do exceedingly and abundantly more than you can ever ask or think. If God is for you, he's more than the whole world against you. I know I have to say that again, but it's so important for us to remember because all things are working together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. If you're alive, you have a mission in this life. You have a purpose. So God didn't create you for nothing. So you are already special. You are already more precious than rubies. You are more than a conqueror. You are a royal priesthood and a holy nation. Like, you are favor. You are a good thing. But in order for you to be a good thing, you have to really be good. You have to have a good heart posture. You have to make sure that your well-being is good. You have to make sure that your core values are good, that you have healthy standards and boundaries. It really starts with you. You have to know who God is and who you are. So that when the next guy comes in, and he will come, that you will not just settle for less than God's best for your life because you know who God is. You know what that love truly feels like. And that's something that you won't be able to compromise on. Pastor Jerry Flowers always says that when you sin after you know God, you can never sin the same again. And it's true. When you know the love of God, no other love, fake love, ever feels like love again. There's nothing any person can ever do to try to convince you that that's what love is. It will never set right in your spirit. So know who you are. Know whose you are. Remember to focus on God. You got this. You can do this. I'm gonna keep doing these videos. There's gonna be 10 of them. This is video 2 of 10. So I will see you guys in the next video. Remember that God loves you, and remember to love yourself. Bye.